I am Wimbo77, one thing about history.com. 7 ways to maintain a good relationship. Now, this is a true story, okay? I was stood behind an elderly couple at the supermarket, and to me, it looked like they'd been married for a long while. They were old and they were together packing their shopping onto the conveyor belt. So I asked the woman, I said to the lady, how long you been married? And she said, about 50 years. And I said, wow, that is amazing. How do you make it work? The husband now turns around and he says, suffer. Suffer, you know. So that got me thinking, are there really 3 rings to a relationship? The engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. And if that's the case, what really does it take for a relationship to last? So here are a few things that I find quite effective, because myself, I've been in quite a long relationship of 30 years. And although it's not easy to get along with and being with someone for that long, because it swings and roundabouts, hill and gully, war zones, whatever, it's not an impossible task. So the first thing for me, number 1, is to be able to listen. Now, I'm talking about listening, not the type, you're in the supermarket, you hear the music in the background, but you're not really paying much attention to it. That's not the listening that I'm talking about. The listening that I'm talking about, like I said, is the listening where we're hearing and paying attention to what the needs of our loved one is, right? Paying attention, hearing what our partner has to say. That's really, really important. So number 1. Number 2, don't be quick to anger or judgment. Now, sometimes we are going to say things to each other that may not make us happy. It could be anything that winds us up the wrong way, who knows? Now, and often it strikes a nerve and we're like, what did you say that to me for? However, we don't want to be quick to judgment. We don't want to be quick to anger. Really, what we want to do is we want to mull over what's been said, right? Go away, think about it, and maybe if we have to, at some later point, come back and talk about it. Act accordingly, but do not be quick to anger or judgment. Another thing, number 3, do not preempt what your partner is going to say, all right? There's nothing worse, right, than when someone finishes your sentences. Have you ever been in that situation? Right. Allow your partner to have their say, and then you respond. But remember point number 2, not to be quick to anger or judgment, right? Just respond in a loving way. And yes, I know it takes a lot sometimes, but give it a try, all right? So don't preempt what anyone's going to say. Most of all, we're talking about relationships here, what a partner has to say. Number 4, do not take things personally. Now, things are said in the moment, like I said up there, number 2, and it strikes a chord. And we're like, oh, how dare you? No. What we do is, again, we listen, mull over it, allow time to think about what it is. We draw our conclusions, all right? And then maybe go back and discuss it when you've calmed down and the environment is a much more peaceful environment to say, hey, babes, do you know what? I understand what you were trying to say to me. And yes, I will act accordingly. So number 5, you're not always going to always agree with your partner. But think about it. Would you prefer a war zone, or would you prefer a peaceful, calm household? Now, we choose our battles wisely, because we're not always going to agree. We don't even agree with people outside, do we? We don't always agree with what people have to say, but we allow for the peace of the situation so that we can live peacefully and calmly amongst each other. And that's what we want to do. We want to maintain the peace within the household. That's the most important thing, all right? So it's not about, knowing what you're saying and wanting to have your say. It's about maintaining the peace. Number 6, never leave the house or fall asleep without settling your issues. Because the main thing is that you'll leave angry or you go to sleep angry, then you won't be able to sleep. Something might happen out there and you're never going to forgive yourself. So never go to sleep without settling an issue. Never leave the house without settling the issue. And this is the main point of this whole discussion, or these 7 points, is that the communication, you have to communicate with your partner in order to progress forward and to settle those issues. There's no point in holding on to things. Fix it, and fix it quickly. Fix it straight away. And that way you'll have a restful evening. You'll be happy. He'll be happy. And then the love making can continue, isn't it? The love amongst yourselves can continue. Number 7, you don't always have to react. Now this highlights now our self-control. And maybe we are right about a situation. And sometimes we're always right, the women, you know what we're like. But do we have to jam it down their throats that I told you so, I'm right in this situation? No, because again, we are wanting solitude. We want peace. We want calm in the household. If we have children, we want the children to be peaceful and calm and loving and kind and going about settling issues in and about the right way. Yeah. So it's not about being wrong and strong or right and they're wrong. No, it's about really that communication. That is the key of everything. To communicate, self-control, and allowing for a peaceful and loving environment with your other half, with your spouse, with your partner. All right? So listening is the most important thing. It goes back to communication, not being quick to judge and getting angry about a situation, not always being right. And if you are right, not allowing your partner to feel bad because you're always right and maybe they're not stepping up to the plate. It doesn't matter. The main thing is having that communication going, loving communication within the household, so that you can both grow and last like that guy. So no, it's not suffer. We don't need to suffer. But really, it's that communication, self-control and love. That's the key. All right. So I am Wimbo77, onethingabouthistory.com. And like I always say, if you like this video, please click that notification bell and subscribe. Take care now. See y'all on the other side.